Hi, I am Dr. Emmanuel Sunkari. I'm a lecturer at the University of Mines and Technology, Ghana. I'm presenting on hydrogeochemical evolution and geospatial mapping of groundwater salinization in a typical urban coastal aquifer in southeast Ghana. My presentation starts all the way from introduction to conclusion. Now, groundwater salinization is becoming a major threat to water quality globally, especially in coastal belts. For example, in the Ghana West municipality in Ghana, which is the focus of this study, the sea in the area is actually intruding into the groundwater and it is polluting the water. But little is known about this phenomenon. On the geological map here, we realize that the area is dominated by metamorphic rocks belonging to the Dahomean Formation and the Togo series, and with some granites called the Cape Coast granite. There are also some anthropogenic activities like landfill sites and also industrial and agricultural activities in the area. All these activities may be contributing to salinization in the water, but little is known about this phenomenon. Therefore, the aim of this research is actually to assess the sources and geospatial distribution of groundwater salinization in the Ghana West municipality in Ghana. Specifically, the research is aimed at determining the hydrogeochemical characteristics of groundwater by means of hydrogeochemical techniques, and also to delineate areas with high groundwater salinization employing ArcGIS, and to evaluate processes and sources that contribute to groundwater salinization using chemometric analysis. In terms of the results, the hydrochemical data suggests that proxies that are used in determining salinization in water, for example, electrical conductivity, total dissolved solids, and chloride, their concentrations are extremely high when compared with their guideline values provided by the World Health Organization. For example, TDS values range from 884 to 17,800 milligram per liter, which suggests that there is some form of salinization in the water. Now, in order to understand the water types or the hydrochemical fascists in the area, a Piper diagram was plotted. A majority of the samples plot within the sodium bicarbonate chloride terrain, which suggests that this type of water is the dominant water in the area, sodium bicarbonate chloride, which represents about 20.7% of all the water samples studied in this particular area. There are other mixed forms, and if you check, they all have chloride in their chemistry, which is still buttressing the point that there is salinization in the aquifer. Now, in order to understand the factors controlling the groundwater chemistry, Gibbs plots were generated. And on these Gibbs plots, it was indicated that almost all the samples plotted within the evaporation crystallization dominance terrain, which suggests that evaporation from the sea may have resulted in the production or the formation of some minerals like halite, rock salt, which may be dissolving later on through, precipitation, and may be carried down into the underground aquifers, which is actually causing salinization in the area. With respect to the parameters that are indicating salinization in the area, geospatial distribution maps were plotted using ArcGIS by means of Kriging interpolation method. Selected ones such as chloride and TDS suggest that the areas with higher concentrations of these parameters are usually the western peripheral of the study area. If you go to the western part of the Ghana West municipality, you will have these parameters having higher concentrations in the borehole. What does this mean? This suggests that these areas are actually dominated by the anthropogenic activities such as farming, industrial activities, and also the sea is located in this terrain, which might be affecting the chemistry of the water. To understand groundwater salinization, Revel index values were calculated. And if these values exceed 0.5, that usually suggests that there is some form of salinization. So on this diagram, you can see that majority of the samples have higher Revel index values greater than 0.5. About 58.6% of the samples show higher Revel index values, suggesting that there is groundwater salinization in the study area. Now, where are the sources of these saline water? Where is the saline water coming from? On this plot, the samples were compared with seawater, and almost 50% were plotted within the seawater zone, suggesting that seawater intrusion may be contributing to the chemistry of the water. And also, Some are plotting within the anthropogenic contamination zone, which also suggests that anthropogenic activities like leakage from domestic waste, industrial waste, and agricultural activities are contributing to the chemistry of the water. Now, in conclusion, the dominant water type in the area is sodium bicarbonate chloride. The sources of groundwater constituents are mainly geogenic and evaporation crystallization with limited anthropogenic salinization inputs. And also, the salinization affected about 58.6% of the boreholes in the area. Geospatial mapping using GIS suggested that the western fringe of the study area, which is very close to the Gulf of Guinea, is the area affected by salinization. Seawater intrusion, anthropogenic activities are actually reported in this research as sources of groundwater salinization in the study area. Thank you.